Hey, Deanna here from 5dpath.fun. Someone has asked me to talk about the age of Aquarius and what is the age of Aquarius. So I'm just going to do my very best to give a little description. We're not going to go too deep into it. I just want to do a general. Obviously we all have heard about the song. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. It came out in the 60s. And it was the dawning of the age of Aquarius. It is about 2,000 years long. Each age is 2,000 years long. We're ending the Piscean age and moving into the Aquarian age. And some people believe that the Aquarian age started in 2012. Some say not until 2100. So, it's a gray area, but I personally feel that because we're pretty good now at moving between timelines and dimensions, that if you want to be in the age of Aquarius, you're pretty much there. I feel like that's where I am right now. I'm really feeling a major shift, and definitely since 2012, and maybe even since 2001 or two, actually, for me. Like, I'm not sure why, but that's what's coming into my head. The age of Aquarius is going to be that we're going to be feeling both or experiencing both the Piscean and the Aquarian. So where your focus goes, energy flows, right? That's what they say now. So it's all about mindset and your vibration of your heart. And like, are you hanging out in that frequency? Because Aquarius actually rules frequency and electricity, and it's a vibration. It's an air sign, right? So it's not something that's tangible. But we can tap in if we're gifted, right? And we understand how to do that. It's an age of enlightenment. And this is where we have major technological advances. And if you just think about it, since the 60s, maybe even since the turn of the century in 1900, we've had lots of technological advances. We've got cars, now we have cell phones, but we did get phones. I mean, there was a lot of inventions that happened. And since the 90s, it seems like it's really accelerated. And so Aquarius also rules the internet because that's a frequency, right? And it's also like airwaves. And if you know the glyph for Aquarius, it is two waves on top of each other, and it's not water, it's frequency, it's airwaves, like radio waves. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to you. And it also is going to be this feeling of we, not me, because we've been more in the me mode, and now we're actually expanding into more of a we, where we're concerned about humanity, which is something that there's always been people concerned with humanity, but not necessarily collectively have we been shifting and changing for that purpose. It includes the brotherhood and the sisterhood, and the idea that God is within us rather than being external to us, which the Piscean age taught us that God existed outside of us. We had to appeal and search for something that was beyond us. And now we get to realize it's actually in us. It is part of us. We are it. So that's really a beautiful transition with the age of Aquarius. Because it's an air sign, it is new ideas and inspirations. And again, Aquarius rules the futuristic things. So it's pulling in brand new ideas that nobody's had before from the divine, from source, from other dimensions. It's the new inventions that are coming. I mean, the internet was huge when that was both discovered, but also implemented. And it's been, first our computers were huge, and now they're, as small as a phone, and maybe there's even tinier ones that they're like injecting into people and stuff like that. So we're gonna have a lot of medical advances, all these new ideas coming from different realms that are bringing in inventions. It's just going to be really phenomenal. There'll be a creativity that will be born from the sensory system, like our senses: sight, hearing, touch, smell, taste, and feeling, right? And what that means to me is it's coming from a passion. So this creativity that comes from this passion, the sensory system. And I do believe also that Aquarius rules a lot of things in the body, but to me, it seems like the nervous system, because it does rule, well, Uranus, who rules Aquarius, is a sign of instant, fast change. And it's often symbolized as like a lightning strike, right? Where it's just electricity, kapow, something changes really quickly. And the nervous system is an electrical system. And so if you could kind of see or sense the idea of how electricity works, it jumps from here to there, one pole to the next. And that's kind of that quick, fast changing energy. It feels like it's kind of an air energy. So anyway, that's an interesting statement there, that creativity will be born from the sensory system. And we're also going to be asked to attune more closely to nature and strengthen this social nervous system that we have, right? If we're all connected, what's the social nervous system? Right now, we might say it's a little bit frazzled, we need some vitamin B and some adaptogens or something like that. So, but it's really moving into this healthier state of that social nervous system, where we're cohesive and we're working together. Aquarius definitely rules community and humanity as a whole. So that's what I was talking about, the we, not the me. There's also going to be a brand new creative intelligence that will be flowing through us, right? So it's a futuristic creative intelligence. And I use the word futuristic loosely, like it could also come from other dimensions that are really like right here at the same level. Future has an idea of being in front of us or out there in the future, way, way out there, and the past is back there. But the reality is they're all kind of existing at the same time. So it's really about just accessing these different places. But that creativity and the vibration and frequency of innovation and support for the collective is what is being tapped into now. So those people who are either purposefully tapping in, or maybe they're hardwired for that already, they're really going to be bringing in some great ideas. And I think there's going to be a lot of people bringing in ideas that don't necessarily have the skills or the process to make it an invention, but it's going to be more and more acceptable for an average layperson to download these amazing ideas. And so I think there'll be a platform designed for people that will make it easier because these ideas, again, are supporting the common good of humanity and the earth. And so why say that a layperson can't have that kind of information when they truly can, right? It just depends on if we receive that and accept it into our society as a whole, that we can let anybody download that kind of information. Aquarius is known as being the sign of teamwork, right? It's not about being the lone wolf, work hard, amass this destiny or legacy that you're gonna move forward with and keep it all to yourself. Again, it's not that, it's the we. And so it's the sign of teamwork. And it's a time for us to come together as a community. And I don't know that we really have done that. We've done it in little pockets here and there, but still each little cult that was, created or living in their own little worlds, there was always a me and them. And so now there's going to be an expansion of that community feel. something that we haven't actually experienced, I don't think yet. So maybe the word community will even be getting an upgrade in its definition of what is community. That frequency symbol, again, those waves that we talked about, which is the symbol for Aquarius, is the flow of the frequency. So that's kind of why also there's a symbol of a water bearer, a woman who's got a pitcher and she's pouring that water. And a lot of people think that Aquarius is a water sign because of that. And she's really pouring from the wisdom. I think it's called the pitcher of life. She's pouring wisdom out of the pitcher, which is an air sign, an air energy. Wisdom is air energy. So it's just interesting to pull all of this together. I love Aquarius. I just think it's an amazing expanded state. And if you have an Aquarius sun sign or rising sign, Aquarius is generally known as a personality trait to be someone who's a little bit of a rebel. They don't like to follow the rules. They want to do things their own way, or at least a way that it feels more free, because a lot of our structured rules, whether it's from the government, it could be driving rules, it could be behavioral rules, they're very restrictive, they're contractive, right? They keep us in a lane. And Aquarius, it wants to be free. It doesn't want to be held into a lane. It doesn't want to be, focused in one area necessarily. It wants to have the freedom to change. So it's inspired by the freedom to change, which is beautiful because we're going to have brand new government ideas coming forward. And when government doesn't shift and change, the people will insist, the people will rebel perhaps, or whatever needs to happen is going to happen in that community feel to birth this new thing. And unfortunately, oftentimes, something needs to crash down, break down, crumble before it can be rebuilt. And that can be a very uncomfortable state. But if you can try to be flexible in that change energy, you're going to sail through that very easily. If you're not comfortable with change, you will have a hard time. And so if you know that about yourself, it's really important to manage your self-care, maybe do some inner work, maybe some therapy, something that works with your inner child who's afraid of new things happening, that ego that's afraid of new things happening, that doesn't know how to adjust to something it doesn't understand. All of the fixed signs are going to be having a little bit more trouble, and Aquarius is a fixed sign. It definitely is fixed in its sense of we need to be free and we need to think about community. And the mutable signs are going to be holding everyone's hands. I'm just telling you that right off the bat. All the mutable signs, which is Virgo, Gemini, Pisces, and Sagittarius, are going to be holding the hands of those people who are scared to change, because the mutable signs know how. They're very, very flexible. They're not worried about change. So maybe make friends with some very strong people and with mutable signs or mutable energy in their chart. I'm just reading some notes here. Oh, so, COVID was a very good example of how everyone had to be isolated and live on their own and be in their own little worlds. And I kind of feel like what happened was it forced us to realize how uncomfortable it really is to be isolated, and that community is so, so important. So it took us into a very uncomfortable place where we pushed against the walls and we said, no, you know what? Oh my gosh, I totally need to figure out how to really be involved in my community. I want to be involved with my family. I want to be having my friends, whatever it is, right? So we had a pushback, which was, I think, a very great growth cycle about what our values are, right? We've been taking it for granted for a long time. Since 2020, we're definitely entering a new era. Like, even though I feel like we've been in the age of Aquarius, 2020 was cataclysmic. It changed a lot of things in a lot of ways. And unfortunately, it feels like some things went backwards. Like, I loved how nature was really recovering during 2020. I loved how people's creativity was really expanded and we talked about the creativity downloads. So hopefully people are still really remembering what was activated for them and taking steps in their life to incorporate that on a more daily basis. This is a great time for expanded consciousness. So if you want to take some quantum physics courses or listen to Wayne Dyer or Joe Dispenza, like, this is the time. You have got so much support right now to expand your consciousness and be a little bit more in touch with that Aquarian energy and those higher vibrational thought forms, right? It is also, the age of Aquarius does live from the heart versus the ego mind, which, doesn't really sound like that's an air sign, because it seems like the mind would be an air sign, but it's an oxymoron in a way. Like, we've been living specifically from our ego and our head for a long time. We make decisions from there. And now I think what's going to happen is we're becoming more and more in touch with our heart, with our intuition, with all of those guidances that we have that don't have words, that don't have facts, that don't have proof. And so when I say that we're going to expand, that's kind of another place that's expanding. People are awakening those gifts and talents that have been latent in them for a while. So they're awakening those gifts and talents now. And Aquarius is really supporting them. It's a time for more collaboration, more connections with like-minded individuals. I think that people will be inspired to end the relationships that they've had that have just been sort of comfortable for whatever reason, but not necessarily a like mind. Because if you've ever been with someone who's like-minded, and the conversations you can have, or the inspirations you can have, or the humor that you can have, or if you're playing a game, it's just there's a heartfelt, there's an amplification that happens. And so searching for those people and keeping them close, trying to be in their presence often, I think is going to really amplify this part of ourselves that we got out of touch with, that is realizing how strong these connections are and how much more we can make and achieve and better we can feel when we're involved with the right people. Some people might even call that, some people might even have a calling to guide others towards enlightenment. So that would be kind of what I'm doing. I'm definitely inspired to help others towards their own enlightenment. And I think a lot of light workers are. I call myself a starseed because of the time I was born and what my soul passions are. And a lot of starseeds are coming online, have already come online, and more will be coming online. But there are a lot more helpers now, more wayshowers, more midwives, spiritual midwives, to assist those people who are new coming online. And I use that word online because it's like electricity, like Aquarius, but they're waking up, and they're aware that they're waking up, right? So but they need a little assistance because it can be uncomfortable. And sometimes it can be messy when you're trying to change your life to be more in alignment with who you really are. So anyway, more people are coming online, and also more people are being asked to help those who are coming online. There's definitely more emphasis in Aquarius age for freedom and independence. And to me, I'm kind of curious about this because I'm a lover of freedom and independence, but at the same time, if you're trying to support community and or it's the we and not the me, maybe that's what it is. It's collective freedom, you know. So that could be within your community. Do you have the freedom to be who you are? Whether, you know, you have a certain sexual side or a certain pronoun, or, you know, maybe this is the kind of art you like, the kind of music you like, whatever. Like, is there a freedom in your community that accepts you for who you are? Does everyone accept everybody? I think that's kind of what that means, freedom and independence, to be truly who you are, and to accept others as truly who they are, to no longer be doing this judgment thing, because the judgment thing is all about me and you, us and them. You're different than me. And it's really all about, you know, we all have a reason to exist. We all have a right to exist. We all have something special. We're not supposed to be copycats of each other. So there's going to be more and more acceptance of the differences that we have. We will have the ability to embrace change. Uranus is ruling sudden change. Again, we talked about that earlier. So there'll be more and more. And because Aquarius and Uranus rule electricity, I'm also pretty sure there's going to be a brand new invention, creation of our electrical system in our houses, in our country, and maybe in the whole world. So solar is great, but I think our renewable power sources are going to really take a turn. We can't even imagine what it's going to be like, and I'm super stoked for that. And it will be in congruency with taking care of the earth. This whole global warming thing is also part of the Aquarian age, because we need to be aware of the relationship to earth. I mean, we have nothing if earth, you know, isn't healthy. We have nothing. And ultimately, it's about the we and not the me, which also means Mother Earth is part of the we, really. Yeah, she's not a separate being. She's part of the we. And I'm excited for how that's going to play out, how people are going to really step up, how they're taking care of Mother Earth. And now is the time to figure out what the reason is. So it's all about coming together and trading the me for the we. And there's no doubt that we're all born for a reason. And now is the time to figure out what the reason is, that we can make a difference in our community and maybe even in the world at large. I'd like to read you a quote from Adama Sase, an astrologer. In the age of Aquarius, the power is now turning over to the individual and giving the freedom for you as an individual to choose your own reality based on what aligns with your soul. And this points out that there'll be a major shift in the power dynamics in this era. I also feel that Aquarius is us getting clear about our inherent gifts and then bringing this full expression of ourselves into humanity and saying, here I am, I'm here to serve us all. Aquarius symbolizes the people coming together and evolving into the next phase. I certainly hope that we're ready for the challenge before us to wake up out of our three-dimensional ego-based stupor and into our next phase of growth into beings of fifth dimensional spiritual consciousness. And we're definitely taking strides there. I hear it every day. I experience it every day with people. And some of you may not, but just know that it's happening. Obviously, the news never talks about it, but try to find the ways that you can be in touch with all of those beautiful fifth dimensional things that are happening on the planet, so that you know, so you have that hope that it is happening. We're doing this. So the air signs of the zodiac, again, are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and they're all associated with relationships in one way or another. Or, you know, so that might be community and networks. Libra is relationships. Gemini is networking and sharing, and the final sign of the zodiac is the air sign is Aquarius, and it's focused on the people with a capital P. It's governed by Uranus. And Aquarius is motivated by collective care, humanitarianism, and large-scale societal matters, and associated with rebellion and revolution, along with scientific breakthroughs, medical advancements, and technological achievements. So we are not going to get rid of AI. It's going to advance. And the most important relationship we can have, again, is to realize that AI can support us completely. It's not a us and them, it's a we. And AI has amazing qualities. It can assist us to do things so much faster. It will never replace authentic artistry. Although I know that some amazing artists are using the abilities of AI to enhance and create new digital art, which is brand new and amazing. So, you know, our movies are going to change with AI. Hopefully, what I'm hoping is people will have to really level up their intuition to know whether they're getting scammed by the scam artists using AI or whether it's real. And so that might be part of the ultimate test, is get off your ass and wake up, you know, start using your intuition. You have one, we all have one. And let's let it rock. That's what I have to say. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps me get more stuff out there. And the more my channel gets seen, the more purpose for me to put these good content videos out. So thank you. Take care.